Greetings, YouTube family. It is good to be here today. We're just going to get right on into it. We're going to talk about and look into and analyze the phrase that we've often heard, we've often used, and we've experienced. And the terminology is simply, what does it mean to rob Peter to pay Paul? See, this is a particular mindset, because that's exactly what this is, that was produced out of living in a situation or circumstances of scarcity. You have a certain amount of money, you may have a certain amount of time, but you have a particular circumstance that needs your attention, and it needs you to allocate, let's talk in finances, it needs you to take funding from other areas to meet an immediate need. Now, this type of thinking, it works well for today if you're just surviving. However, the problem is, after you rob Peter to pay Paul, once you've paid Paul, you've just taken money from one area and you've taken an imbalance from one area and traded it for another imbalance in another area. Paul has been paid from you taking from Peter. So now, when the next day comes, you have the same situation or the same cycle all over again. Because now that Paul is paid, now you have to take care of another Paul comes about, because you just allocated funding from an area that needed to get taken care of in the near future, but not presently right now. So when that time comes around for you to meet that obligation, you have the same scenario. So now, according to the cycle, what generally happens is, now you look around and you allocate funding from another area to meet that immediate need. So once you do that, you give yourself about a month or so, and you look and everything falls apart, because now you're missing funding in every area. You just created a bigger problem. Does this sound familiar to some of you? I'm going to tell you, I used to rob Peter so bad that Peter just stopped coming outside. That's how bad I robbed Peter to pay Paul. But that was a mindset that was instilled in me. And it's usually sent down from generation to generation, depending on where your family is in the socioeconomic arena of things. So my parents, for instance, were hard workers. You know, my parents had a work ethic like none other. You know, so I never really wanted for anything. I didn't have everything, but the things I needed, you know, I was happy pretty much, and I got the things that I needed. Did I have a lot of the things I wanted? Probably not, but my needs were met with no issue. But the problem with that, though, is, how do I move on from there? And if I'm not taught, or I'm not around the right people who can take me from survival mode into a mode of exceeding, or take me to the next level to where I'm winning, I'm not just surviving, but now I'm striving, I'm moving forward, I'm progressing, I'm growing. This is difficult because, see, people always say that there's a generational financial curse. It's not necessarily a financial curse. It's a curse of mindset. See, I'm not knocking my parents because they gave me that work ethic. I really appreciate that from them. And as you can see, I didn't miss any meals. whatsoever. I never went hungry. The light stayed on. But however, now that I'm grown up and I'm a man, I needed to put myself in an environment where I'm around people who are winning. Not saying that my parents were losing, but they were at a certain level and they did the best that they know how to do. And I really appreciate them for that, because I wouldn't be here today and I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for those principles and those values that they instilled in me while they were out there working hard. So once we understand that robbing Peter to pay Paul is just part of a vicious cycle that keeps you in a certain area financially, it keeps you in a certain area emotionally, and it keeps you in a certain area physically and mentally. Because if you're not making enough money, then you're going to feel a certain way about yourself. If you're not making the right type of money, then you're going to eat a certain way. You pretty much have to eat what you can afford to eat. So therefore, you may or may not have some health issues. And it's due to the mindset. However, it took time for me to get around someone who could teach me, a mentor. Essential Leaders, putting out a shameless plug out there, Essential Leaders. But it took me to get around some people who are thriving in the areas that I'm trying to thrive in. And getting some coaching and some tutelage from these people and some mentoring to finally understand that that mindset was just handed down to me. And what was going to happen is, if I didn't break that cycle by putting myself in a situation to change my mindset, I was going to hand it down to my kids. And that's scary. That is so scary for me to hand that down to my kids and not show them that there is another life beyond robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it took time for me to understand the skill of money management, which is one of the best principles of money management, is to save more, spend less, and you'll always have money to invest. See, when my parents are out there working hard and doing the things that they thought would make a better life, they didn't have time to study this stuff. So that's why I appreciate them, because if they hadn't did what they did, I wouldn't have had time to gather the knowledge and get the knowledge. So like I said, I really appreciate their struggle. I really appreciate their sacrifice to the fullest. But now I'm on another plane. I'm on another level in my life, to where now is I understand that I have to let my money make money. See, we talk about like trading and options trading, and we talk about the different types of stocks and with the different types of currencies and things of that sort. But in all actuality, we're all traders. Think about this. We're all traders. But you just don't think about it. My parents were traders. But what they did was they traded their time for money. I traded my time for money. The problem with that is there's only 24 hours in a day. You sleep 8 of them. So you have 16 hours of time that you could be making money. The average job, you work about 8 hours. So within that day, you only can allocate 8 hours towards working to make money. And then after that, life sets in. You have to make sure, when you get a family, you got to make sure the kids are okay. You make sure they can get off and go to school. You got to make sure they have school clothes. You got to make sure that they have everything that they need so that they can grow. So in the process of all of this, you have to find time to feed your mind. So going back to the principles of money management, you have to save more and spend less so that you always have money to invest. The way to do this is, whenever you get ready to purchase something, you have to ask yourself a question. Do I really need this? And by me spending this money, is it going to make money or is it going to take money? And that's one of the things that in the mindset of money management is now you have to think about assets, because assets create money. You can buy something that over time will increase in value. Therefore, it becomes valuable, more and more valuable the longer you keep it, versus you buying something that's going to decrease in value or depreciate. So you have to be careful with that, with your spending, because remember, you're having to save more and spend less. So there has to be some sacrifices there, but those sacrifices are well worth it. Wouldn't you willing to give up 2 years of your life spending less and saving more so that the next 10 years of your life you won't have to worry about money? You won't have to worry about going to a job every day. You won't have to worry about paying bills, because everything will be on autopilot. Because the money that you saved, you're taking that money and making money with it. That's amazing to me. But see, growing up, that wasn't the mindset. There was nobody there to mentor that I knew of. There probably was somebody there, but I was not in that room when people were talking about those such things. But now that we're in the information age and we have YouTube, my goodness, if we had YouTube back then, anyway. Now we're in the information age and information is being traded very fast. Everything is happening. Anything that you don't know, you can go find it like so fast, and especially in the world of AI. So now there is opportunity for you to get knowledge so that you can improve yourself and put yourself on another level. Now you can learn from others a whole lot faster. You don't have to drive all the way to go to a workshop. You can have a workshop sitting right there in the comforts of your own home. So I'm saying that to say this. As I began to grow and be around the people, I had some struggles because there was a mental conundrum going on in my head that I could not see past the job. It was almost like the Matrix. I mean, as soon as I saw my way out of the system, something would be in place that would happen that emotionally, mentally would draw me right back in to that familiar place. So therefore, I would not take the risk that I needed in order to get to the other side. The blue pill, the red pill. So therefore, it was something to keep me from making that choice of the blue pill or the red pill. I didn't even get to that point. I would just stay in the system. Just staying in the system. So with that being said, robbing Peter to pay Paul. This is one of the worst, and I'll say this, one of the worst money management tactics that you ever want to use. But I'll tell you, I have something for you that you can use to, and everybody can start at their own pace, at their own level. I have something that you can use that you can create one stream of income. In the book of the richest man of Babylon, they say that a man should have at least 8 to 7 streams of income. Today, I'm going to start you off with just one, and that's a start. Because some of us don't have any streams of income, and neither do we have the opportunity to. But now I'm giving you the opportunity today. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can shoot me a comment through YouTube. I'll get your information and I will shoot you a link that's going to show you a investment. It's going to give you a overview of the investment and tell you what the investment about it, tell you about the legalities and things of that sort. And therefore, you have the information to make an educated decision that could change your life. Remember, the best principle and practice of money management is to save more, spend less. You'll always have money to invest. Don't work for your money. Let your money work for you. You all have a wonderful day out there in YouTube land. Happy Sundays.